everyone. You're obviously confused and aroused.
Then where are we now? Do you have idiots on your planet?
It's me, Zoidberg, remember from high school?
Hello, you're listening to the Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we will be discussing Futurama Season 2, Episode 15, The Problem with Poplars, with your hosts, Tommy Roulette,
How's it going?
Pete Woodward,
That's me.
and I'm Rick Horchie. Joining us today is our special guest, Jason Molinari. How's it going, Jason?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi.
It's good.
All right. We survived half of the holidays, at least. We all appear to be in one piece,
Unscathed.
unlike Tommy's pen, which was in several pieces just a second ago.
But it's a good pen.
You can replace the cartridge.
Yes.
Well, but as you were saying, Arch, you're like pens are 99 cents. I would argue that
Pens are like 10 cents.
Pens are
They're
free.
99 cents a bag.
specific pen was 99 cents.
Pens are free if you have a low ethical bar.
I have a high
And
ethical
sticky
bar for
fingers.
pens. I spend good money on pens.
What happens if you lose it?
I mean, I like a good pen, don't get me wrong.
Kind of turned the house upside down looking for my pen.
If you had a good
Yeah.
one and you lost it,
It's maybe $10 for 4,
Oh, my God.
but I've had these forever, so I love
See, if
them.
I bring a nice writing
Uniball.
utensil
It's a
into
Uniball
this
pen.
house, it will get stolen or destroyed in a matter of minutes, not by me. So I don't feel comfortable investing in them.
I've gone back to the house when I forgot my pen.
don't give it to Tom. He'll break it.
I will. This one is not broken. I bought the Sharpie pens because I really liked them, but they ran out super fast.
Or with the ink. Okay.
Yeah, one of them the cap was left off. of,
Maybe you
but-
should get a pen that writes in molten boron.
Yeah, cold opening.
Welcome to the Pen 15 cast.
It
a
was
special
very-
club where we talk about pens and who knows what else.
So the return of the cold open, however brief, is molten boron something that comes up later, or is it just like here's a wacky product and off we go?
I don't recall it ever coming up,
Okay.
but keep your eye out.
'Cause
For it,
I
guess.
thought Glagnar's Human Rinds made a appearance later on after they did the cold open.
Jason, did
commercial
you
a while
notice
ago.
that little commercial at
did.
the beginning?
The commercial, yeah, with the molten, with boron's an element?
Yeah. That's all I know. Don't ask me anything else about
know,
boron.
right?
I know.
I said it with a question. So.
Yeah, it's anybody. Pete, you're always good on.
I went
both
to
of you
school
guys
with
are.
a guy whose last name was Boron.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did
he-
he get called Boron the Moron? Was that the thing?
I don't think it went that
Too easy.
far.
Really?
I mean,
I know it's too easy, but when you're 11, like that's
Right.
gonna
Oh,
happen.
yeah.
You know.
I think it
Brutal
was
upbringing.
Did you have any nicknames in high school or when you were a kid or whatever?
I had Mo for a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
5th, 6th grade. That's about it.
Yeah. That's a good last name. Abbreviation
Wasn't too
nickname.
bad.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
The Jumbotron cartoon, it had a sign that said "Welcome to Mars" and some kind of cat or clown just kind of checking out the scenery. Did you get the name of this one?
Up to Mars from 1930. That's as far as I went.
Yeah,
This is during the credits? This is in the...
yeah, like the Jumbotron screen that the ship crashes into.
She crashes
at the
into
beginning.
it. Right.
And I bring it up, one, because it annoys them, and two, because it's usually just
For once, it's almost worth
crazy.
bringing up because they do a little joke about it later in the episode.
Crash into it again.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like that's the second one you've crashed into this week. Say, like insinuating that she does it every week, and that's why we see that at the beginning of every episode.
Well, she has bad depth perception because she only has one eye. But for as weird as those cartoons are, like that, without fail, I mean, especially devoid of context, they're just like the most bizarre psychedelic things you'll ever see. But what's really weird is like, except for Cocoa Needles the Boss, the titles of these crazy psychedelic cartoons are really incredibly boring. What do we call this? Up to Mars? What do? They go up to Mars? And then there's like space cats and shit palling around on the surface of the red planet. I don't know. I will continue to have observations about this shit.
They could be Martians.
Yeah, old cartoons are weird. Did you guys? Did you and Sarah watch this together? Jason's girlfriend was our like 7th or 8th guest.
Yeah,
or
she was
something like that,
early.
Sarah.
And I'm sure
And she's a huge Futurama fan, and one of the reasons we asked Jason, 2 reasons we asked you to be on this episode was, just to be on it in general was because you've seen the show, but you are not like a huge fan like a lot of people we've had on.
I've actually never seen the show.
What? I mean,
This is like
not before
this
this
2
one,
weeks in
right?
a row.
Not before this episode.
What? I thought you.
I'd watched
I
it
said you caught like
a
episode
handful.
before.
Yeah, caught a handful when Sarah was watching.
I mean, you've
hers.
seen it.
I'm aware of the show and the the
And just-
people that are on it, but
Just to be clear, because I'm sure Sarah would be really happy to be described as your appendage, like Sarah Eisenhart, noted bon vivant, and excellent guest in her own right, is your significant other.
correct.
And you are both people of agency and creativity.
Yes.
And all of that. She's not just Jason's girlfriend. That's what I'm trying to get at.
But I also described her as a previous guest.
Yeah, but you never named her. So if people want to go back,
I
you know,
said episode whatever. Her name is Sarah.
yeah,
That's-
episode whatever. You know what?
there's
You
the
know
info.
what? If
Look it
nothing
up.
else, Sarah broke the South Dakota barrier for us.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if nothing else,
The coveted South Dakota barrier.
Yeah, we had 0 downloads in that state until Sarah was on, and now we have exactly 1 subscriber.
It's a hot market.
So if you're the South Dakota listener,
It was a
we
bird
appreciate
that
it.
landed on an iPad.
It accidentally hit subscribe.
No, but so that was one of the reasons was to get your perspective on this episode or any episode, and then the other one was because it is a food industry related episode, and you have a culinary
did notice
business,
as soon
so
as
like
yes.
or a catering business, or how would you describe it? Is that
Yeah, I'm in food. I've been
Yeah.
doing food for pretty much my whole life, my career, and
you have
that's all I know.
of like a lot of our friends that I mean I think out of our wide group of friends, there's a lot of different types of jobs, and a lot of them I don't like. I've known Pete for years. I don't really understand what he does, but like, and I don't know the ins and outs of what you do, but I know what you do. I mean, generally, like I have an idea. Like
I think he's a
You-
school principal or something.
Right. I could.
sure, that works. Yeah, whatever.
College
Like,
principal. I don't know.
but even though I mean it's a pretty loose, like I mean it's it's like this fast food joint and the
Do you have
Popeye's
a
or whatever.
knife
It's
roll?
still like it was kind of like
A what?
A knife roll.
I do have a knife roll.
What's a
Canvas
knife
It's a
roll?
professional. It's a
professional
It's
knife
a-
carrier.
yeah,
Oh,
and it
like-
rolls up
okay.
into a little
canvas,
tube.
and you roll your
like
knives
a
up in it.
like a electrician's player's
Dexter.
Roll or
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any catchphrases like Emerald or anything like when you're preparing?
He
are
stole Bam from me.
you- oh, son of a bitch.
I know the royalties.
Oh, so Futurama owes you money too because there's a character that they stole from Emerald called Elzar, and he says knock it up a notch instead of
That's good.
what does Emerald say?
Kick it up a
Kick it
notch.
up a notch, and he says Bam. They didn't get creative on that.
Right.
They were just like he'll say Bam.
He
too.
had like
No one
6
will notice.
arms though and a spice
Because
wheel. so
Bam
it's a whole
Bam
thing.
from Flintstones owns Bam.
Oh, but no, he just owns. He owns.
He's
Bam.
a minor. The rights are actually controlled by his guardian,
So Barney.
which is his agent Herbert Finkelstein. He was an
Oh, I thought you were gonna
he's-
go like a.
He was
You mean
emancipated.
Herbert Finkelstone, not
I thought it was Fibblestein.
Fibblestone.
Pebblestone.
Yeah, every character on Flintstones has a.
Oh, he's not a
Set of
cartoon character.
Huh?
He's a CAA. Anyway,
I don't know where he went with that. Who remembers Howard Johnson's?
I do.
I don't know
I
where
do.
there are any Howard
Is that a
Johnsons
Canadian
anywhere.
thing?
No, they're
Were they here?
US. They're in the U.S.
Yeah,
I know
my-
I've heard of it, but oh no, they had them in Georgia. Yeah.
okay.
I never went there, but I
They've
drove
had 'em
fast.
everywhere.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we this? I made a note about it too. I felt like there was some other stuff before that. So you want to go down this rabbit hole now because I have a lot to say about Howard Johnson.
I mean, the only other notes and things that I thought
If-
were funny.
If Pete has a lot to say about this, let's skip
Let's
the Howard
just skip
Johnson's
it.
thing.
Have you ever cooked baking soda and capers?
No.
That's one of my only
Do you
notes.
think it
What are
could be
capers?
made into something delicious and edible?
No.
Not even
with those two
not even with
ingredients?
enough
Going through
barbecue
my-
sauce.
Is it the baking soda or is it the capers?
It would be the baking soda.
Be fresh though.
Yeah. It would
What
smell-
about
your breath
baking
would smell
powder
great.
and
Baking soda you can use make things crusty, and it's good for you use it in baking a lot. It's activated. I always get baking soda and baking powder. I should probably not admit this on it.
Oh, you heard it
To the
here
public.
first. Yeah,
One's activated by
Jason
heat.
Molinari puts baking soda in.
Right.
in
One's
his-
activated by heat. One's activated by water, and that's why you use it in baking. But you could
think,
do. I think baking soda is activated by heat.
I would think water because it's soda.
I thought it was water, but
It's
you can
boron. You put
also-
boron in baking soda and it activates it.
you can.
Either way, capers. A little bit of capers goes
Hey,
a long way.
yeah.
And you don't
What are-
want a plate of them
Word or
No.
capers?
without anything else. It's a little berry.
They're
They're-
really tart.
Yeah, they're tart and they're pickled.
savory and
They're pretty delicious when used properly.
Yeah,
They're rich people food.
but they.
I just,
I
I
know, I'm just
never
kidding.
like. It was one of those things where that came up, and I instead of taking 2 seconds to Google it on my phone, I was like, oh, I'll ask you guys, and the answer was really disappointing. Like,
Yeah,
are they
there's-
good? But you said they're
They're
good.
just pickled berries. Yeah.
I hate
It's a little-
pickled everything. I hate anything pickled.
Oh, you're not.
Ugh.
Gonna, you would hate
Pickled
them.
radishes.
You would hate.
Ugh.
them.
They are something that would be at a fancier, like as a fancier hors d'oeuvre than like.
They don't come on
normal place.
anything with a mick in front
No,
of
that's
it?
not true.
No.
What I've had like, we've been out to brunch and there's been stuff on the menu that had capers in them.
The Big Buford has a caper
Uh-huh.
too.
The
It should. the new caper Big Buford.
barbecue rodeo caper burger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which the barbecue rodeo caper sounds like a fantastic episode of something like Scooby Doo or something, all by itself. It works on a couple of levels.
Meddling kids.
And so the Planet of the Moochers, they stole Fry's pants.
That's what I was curious about. So they were just out exploring.
No, they were making a delivery.
Yeah, a lot of the where the episode starts or like the
What kickstarts the
yeah
main
is
plot.
that they're it's a delivery company, so they're have to go here and
Okay.
this craziness ensues or
The last crew we sent there got killed. These are your replacements if you
And-
don't make it back.
You do understand that Fry was frozen for 1,000 years.
I thought it was 3,000 years. Just 1,000?
It was 1,000. It was
Okay.
from
they're in the year 3000.
Yes.
So that's
They're in the
probably
year
why
3000.
you're thinking
Okay,
3000.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they in 3001 now?
Yeah, but when he was unfrozen. So yeah,
Okay,
I guess.
yeah.
it
no,
would be-
they're
I feel like
No,
they
I do know
say
that
the year
premise. 'Cause
3000. They
it
don't
became
really.
the year 3000 when he became unfroze.
No, he's talking about now because it's
'Cause
season
it's
2.
been over
That's a good
year.
question because I'm not sure
Well,
if
Christmas
they ever
happened a while back.
because they do more Christmas episodes. I don't remember if they ever start saying it's the year 3001 and 3002. I feel like they always call it the year 3000.
Okay.
But
it
we'll-
matches
we'll
up
keep an eye out
with
for that.
the actual year.
Do
I
they say?
think-
Do they acknowledge that? Is what I'm saying. Like
No, I don't think they ever
I feel like they
do.
always call it the year 3000. Like when they mention what year. it is or
until
whatever.
until later episodes when it actually becomes like 3010 after it gets
When they do
canceled.
The return.
Because
Oh, okay, all right.
yeah.
So, the names of the restaurants that Fry's looking for are hoping that they find those Burger Jerk,
I would eat at Burger Jerk.
Fishy Joe's, Chisler.
Chisler sounds good. I'd eat there.
I mean, all of them. Fishy Joe's even.
Oh yeah, Fishy Joe's. Did anyone? All right, do you feel like Fishy Joe's is Long John Silver or Red Lobster?
No, Long John Silver.
Yeah, definitely.
or
It's like
or
the-
Arthur Treacher's.
Yeah.
What do you guys like better? What's your favorite fast food seafood?
Well, it's funny. I don't think you saw this comedian last night, but one guy actually had a bit about Long John Silver's.
No, I miss it.
Yeah, and just how like they're still there, but I don't know anybody.
Where
who
do you
ever
find
goes
it?
to
Yeah,
them.
it's good. It's cheaper, but I'm allergic to shellfish.
They're
so
like attached
going
to
to a
like
seafood restaurant is kind
Pizza
of like
Huts or something
eh.
like that now, like the Express.
Oh yeah, is
like
that
weird?
Baskin
Yeah.
Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts or something.
Baskin Robbins and Arthur Treacher's?
Mm.
Get some
Fish and
Combos.
chips.
yeah, like the strawberry yogurt shrimp cone.
Oh shit! There's one on Brook Park Road.
Yeah, but who's gonna go there?
An occasional fish sandwich from like McDonald's is about as far as I'll go for fast food, like seafood.
What
or
if there was a
fish
close
or
one though? I mean,
anything.
we don't have. I mean, with this.
Well, that's what I'm
lobster in
saying.
Lakewood,
I
right?
think there is a close one. Maybe not.
I would not eat, nor have I ever ate at Long John Silver's.
Will you get good fish at like a restaurant?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one up on Tiedemann
I'd eat
and
at Red
Brook Park.
Lobster. I have no shame in eating at
Can
Red
we
Lobster.
pause and go on a field trip?
I've never been to Red Lobster.
You're
You've
not-
been there once or
I
twice.
mean,
But I didn't mean to sidetrack you that far, Tom. But Howard Johnson's, they were a case study in one of my graduate classes because they were this company that expanded super rapidly. Like they really kind of lit the world on fire back in the 60s and became like this, when they were building the interstate highway system, it was like that was the place that people would look forward to. And they just expanded like crazy.
Didn't they have the huge A-frame?
They had
like,
big A-frames, and you couldn't miss them because they had this like day-glow orange.
orange and teal.
Yeah.
Turquoise and teal.
And the last one I saw and went to was in Las Vegas about 14 years ago. It may still be there because what happens with a lot of those is they the central parent company dies, and then they just like, we're not going to rebrand our shitty restaurant. We're just going to be Howard Johnson.
I thought for a long time Howard Johnson's, and even when I would drive past the one, there was one on like the main road I would drive to and from work every day in Georgia, and I thought doesn't it sound like a jewelry store or something? Like
what does now?
I think, yeah.
But so
Howard
I
Johnson's,
knew
like,
that there was a
that
restaurant.
doesn't sound like a
the
fast food
reason
place.
they went, they basically killed their own business is they tried to be everything to everyone. So it was like they were
try to like cater to all the.
they were one of those
different
first
types of-
restaurants just be like, we have 95 menu
Is
items.
it a fast food place or is it like
It
a
was like
Bob's
a-
Big Boy?
It's like Big Boy.
like a
Okay.
Big Boy or a
Yeah.
Friendly's or Denny's.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
but it was, I think, a notch above. But this was like when you'd go to any of those places and you had like 10 menu items and they had everything.
Now,
But
am I mistaken? Where they're Howard Johnson's attached to hotels? as
yes,
well?
that was
That
that.
sounds,
They were
this one
basically
might,
like
the one I drove by might have been.
the oases on the budding interstate national highway system. So,
By the way, if you guys hear a tiny chirp every once in a while, there's a bird that tells Pete when there's a fire in the house and it's dying.
yeah, it's the canary in the coal mine.
I don't know if we'll pick that. It's probably not going to be picked up.
It will be.
I don't know. It
It's
might
an
be.
Easter egg.
I don't smell smoke. That's good, right?
That's good. You're not having a stroke. That's for
I don't
one.
smell toast.
And
I
then
don't
two,
smell smoke.
toast and fruit.
Good.
Or
Check.
bitter almonds.
And what?
Or
Almonds? Is that
cyanide?
That's
No,
cyanide, right? Yeah.
Okay.
if you smell almonds, that means you've been poisoned by cyanide?
Cyanide smells like almonds.
But
Cyanide
only
smells
if
like
you have the
okay.
genetic mutation that
You
allows
smell
you to
Yeah, and then
smell
only
it.
50% of people
Yeah.
smell cyanide as almond.
It means
That's
that
actually,
you're going
um,
gangrene.
The first thing on Jason's website for his business is if you eat my food and you smell almonds and almonds aren't mentioned.
I just feed them almonds all the
you
time.
probably had cyanide
Can't poison
and
the
baking
almonds.
soda.
Is it possible to grow mushrooms on a damp bath mat?
I would imagine. We've all been to college. We've seen that.
I've had that happen a few times.
Really?
Yes.
Bleach.
have.
Just I was like, oh, that happened more than once.
Or
and put some
move.
bleach.
Wait,
And I
they
don't
didn't-
even mean when Tom and I live together. That happens at my current place
Oh.
a couple times.
Well, when we
I
lived
take
together-
showers, I'm dancing around, doing karate moves and stuff. There's water flying everywhere.
Spores,
you know.
everything.
Yeah.
That's actually the hydroponic fish tank that's set up over there behind you. That was started by some frat bros who learned that you could grow mushrooms on used coffee grounds, and they turned that into a business. And now I'm going to be harvesting basil and wheatgrass on top of my fish shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Wait,
Science.
so the
That's
fish
actually
shit
pretty
goes to
neat.
the top?
No, the fish is just hanging out in the bottom, and it pumps the waste into the hydroponic plants
So
up
it
top.
skins it up to
Oh.
the top.
Yeah,
This is going to be delicious.
right? Full of nitrates and all of that stuff.
Healthy.
It's going to taste like hot dogs.
Healthiest people in Lakewood.
Easily.
Absolutely.
Easily.
It's weird that your fish is a carp, though. So that's
You
kind
know,
of dirty.
the bottom feeders taste the best. They pick up all
Do you
the
guys
extra
have any food
flavors.
allergies? I'm allergic to shellfish. Anybody?
Really? Seriously?
Yeah. It's a mild allergy. I can eat it. I can eat a little bit, but I'm not going to feel good. And if I eat a lot, I'm going to feel terrible. Like I'll get very the best way I can describe it. Like
Does it affect you up topsies
if
or
I
down
eat like
bottomsies?
a whole lobster, no, yes, both. Okay. If I have like a few shrimp, like I probably won't even notice. If I have, let's say I have like a meal of, let's say I have like some crab cakes and some lobster and some shrimp or whatever. I will get.
That's not a meal. That's a seafood feast.
Okay, all right. Well, so a main dish and then maybe even whatever. Let's say I have more than a snack of shellfish. I'll start to get very hot, which is but like the best way I can describe it. Dizzy. This is weird. I'll get itchy. I mean, I guess that's not
I
weird.
mean,
that's a normal reaction.
You fall in love, basically.
I get a weird thing, and you know how like it's like, oh, it's not like my throat is closing up or whatever, but I'll feel like a almost a very mild pressure in that area on my neck or whatever.
Very common.
But it's
fish allergies.
So I mean, it's to the point where it's like, oh, I can eat this and it's delicious, and I'll feel kind of shitty after. But I eat a lot of shitty fast food, and I definitely feel like crap later. So like, not-
I think Rallies is going to come up a lot on this episode, but their hashtag fast foodie is actually pretty great.
Do you think Chislers is Sizzlers and Checkers combined?
What's a checkers?
Checkers is other
Southern
regional rallies.
Okay.
Yeah,
They just have a couple different names.
So is it like a
Snaps.
Hardee's, Carl's Jr.?
Exactly,
exactly,
like that.
yeah.
They have the same branding, it's just a different name. Like they don't have a cute little star face guy to make you feel good about the shit that you're gonna do to your body. But
this is the worst episode to do. I forgot to eat dinner.
well, and so they find a pit full of what looks like fried prawns.
Or what did? That's what Bender said. What did? Fry said it looked like something something shrimp.
Fried
and then-
shrimp, and then Bender says it's a
They
hole
look
full
like
of fried prawns.
prawns.
And then they go to town. These poplars are apparently compulsively delicious.
What do you think they taste like? Popcorn shrimp? Popcorn shrimp?
Better.
I was just thinking, and that's why I said rallies is probably going to come up a lot because I imagine
They look like they're naturally breaded, and I'll eat anything that is fried and breaded. Like
but what
that's-
if it
no.
was like
The right amount of salt.
popcorn?
Oh yeah,
Probably perfect.
yeah.
What if you had popcorn shrimp seasoned like Rally's fries?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because they're juicy.
Oh,
With the sauce inside, maybe?
Yeah.
Jason's writing this down. He's leaving. Oh, he's going to work this up right now.
I mean, there's actually
idea.
The frequently mentioned Chow Chow kitchen in Lakewood, which maybe we'll say it enough and they'll give us free chicken or something. But they make
I forgot to go there.
they have like
I've never been there.
deep
You ever been
fried
there?
I have
cheese
not been there.
curds that are delicious, and there's something about their breading. So it could be something like that, but I I think the Poplars would have the Rally's seasoning, which is made up of I think like
How did that happen?
Orchie broke his beard. I don't. That's my.
I
thinking.
remember my first beer, dude.
Rally's tasting popcorn shrimp. Would there be any other things to that? Do you think, Tom?
No, it's just I was just thinking like it would have like the consistency of a like really greasy, maybe even slightly undercooked Rally's French fry.
Why were
But
you
it
guys
would
both thinking
be-
about Rally's fries with this thing that doesn't look like fries?
Because the
Because it
breading
looks like
it's
and
not
just the
breading.
way, yeah.
You're
just
thinking
the
about
way,
The crunch.
like yeah, the way.
Is it the flavor? Because that's
Well,
one
yeah,
of the
but
best.
like breading.
But
is,
it would taste. I think it would taste kind of like probably either fishy or even like maybe a little gamey.
What about hush puppies? You think they might be like
Well,
kind of hush
because-
puppy-ish?
no hush
Hush puppy's
puppies
like
are
a
too
bread.
dry.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bread.
but I mean,
And it's not like popcorn chicken because invariably popcorn chicken is way too dry.
But I'm
in
going to go on the
chicken.
hush puppy side of the crust. The outside.
that's what I meant. Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not the
And
inside.
it's a ball,
But
and
I
it's
think kind
like
of that crusty fry.
yeah, not the
outside.
Yeah.
inside. That's I'm more.
But
yeah.
again, you're
crusty.
coming down to seasoning. It's like an onion powder, garlic, salt, and pepper thing that I think would make a hush puppy.
Yeah, I'm just going to hush puppy crust. And
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
circular looking too.
Yeah.
That's what-
I
yeah,
think that
I
also
meant
makes-
yeah, maybe not yeah.
Some of them were sort of lumpy, misshapen things, but either way, because you don't really see them, they're just sort of
I'm so
thrown
hungry.
into their mouth. You know, I told you we should have stopped and gone to Long John Silver.
Yesterday when we met up at the show, I
Just around the corner
also
in
forgot
Tiedemann.
to eat dinner,
Yeah.
and I ate a banana on the way. And today I didn't even do that. I actually had a sandwich made in my fridge in a bag, and I was going to grab it on the way, and I forgot. If you're looking for a good effective diet, I've been able to maintain a emaciated childlike weight at 35 by being stupid and forgetting to eat regularly.
You don't
So-
forget your beer.
well,
You need calories, Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, and the takeaway is that the thing Leela wears on her wrist says that poplars are not poisonous.
That's what I put it on here. That made me laugh.
I think they've named that before. Like
This
they've
thing
called
on
it
my
something,
wrist.
No,
haven't
she
they?
said no. She says that,
It's like
Tom.
wrist.
She calls it her wrist-a-majig or whatever.
jack or something like
Yeah, yeah.
that. Yeah, something. I don't remember exactly
Was
what it is.
Is that all it does? Is tell?
No,
No,
it
it's
does-
just whatever like they
She wants-
need, like for
It's
that
like a
episode.
1999 iPhone. You know, it's a compact device that can do all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
If they need to move the plot
They
forward,
didn't have
it-
iPhones in
It could
1999.
probably do it.
But
Anything
but
right.
an iPhone is like sort of a compact device. Like, what do you need to do? I need to see if there's a Long John Silver's within driving distance, or can you scan this thing and see if it's poisonous? Which is an app you can do with your phone now for plants.
Okay.
You know,
It
it's
cannot
so,
do. It probably can't do any of that.
I bet it could.
No,
mean,
it
it's
could
bigger.
tell that was a type M planet.
Yeah. It's like a tricorder.
A what?
It's getting there.
Is that like the hats that the pioneers wore?
No, that's a
Trifold.
yeah. It's the
I thought that was a wallet.
No, that's a trifle. Felix.
I thought a trifle was a kind of
Trifles in
cake.
space.
Felix Trifelstein.
Rookie. Yeah, the wallet that goes 3 ways.
yeah.
That's a bifold. Plus one.
That's a billfold.
I don't know. Where were we?
Yeah, I forget what the
We took that too far. that was too much yes and not enough no but.
The one that I don't understand though is that Fishy Joe's was on every planet in the universe, but he wasn't on
except
that
for
planet.
Mick Pluto.
Except
No,
for
that
Pluto,
was
but he wasn't.
oh, but that's a
but he
planet,
wasn't on
and
that
he
planet.
wasn't. Oh, that's true.
So
Shit, that's a good inconsistency.
But you couldn't check on our.
You know, that's what's known as noticing like an interesting good inconsistency, and not the stuff that Pete usually points out. Which you know,
We'll get to it.
I'm sure
We'll
there's a
get
lot
to
of
it in
them
just a
coming.
couple of notes. But I think another reason that rallies came to mind is Fry said they're like sex, except I'm having them. Like that's how good those things tasted. And when I eat rallies fries, I mean it's just like this is making love to my mouth.
I'm gonna have to go get rallies after this.
I am.
podcast.
Like I said, I didn't eat dinner. I'm going to rallies right after this.
And then hate
Because
myself
they're
later.
open. They're open late.
You got to eat.
just on Warren.
Warren?
Yeah, just on Warren.
That's a smart
on
one.
Kmart.
But you know what happens if you go
south
to
of Lorraine.
if you go to the one on 117th, they give you free
150th,
milkshakes.
technically. That's why you don't
150th.
understand.
Oh, that's
this
what. Yeah,
one.
the 151. The McDonald's is open all night there too. But
Taco
there's a
Bell?
Rallies on 117th, and the Taco Bell over there is open all night, or they're open late. I don't know about all night.
The Poplars song that they have that sing, you know
Yeah.
what that is?
With
Orgy-
the tune for it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's the song is Sailor's Hornpipe.
It's the Popeye song.
Yes. And it is also used in that Simpsons episode that Handsome Pete dances to.
Oh yeah. The crusty balloon-looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they are leaving the planet and this never-ending supply of things that they have yet
Yeah.
to name, they're trying to decide how many to bring back. And one of the suggestions is a Bender full.
Mm-hmm.
How much would that be, given Bender's magical chest cavity?
Some,
Or why wouldn't they fill Bender
In
full
that
of them
instance,
and
it's
then
not
fill
a
the
Bender
ship
full.
and then get more?
It's about
It's-
the size that he looks like he is.
magic.
Well, didn't they sell 100-something billion? So that's
Yeah.
how many filled into this.
And it just keeps coming and coming and coming. Like that's
Maybe they made multiple trips.
Well, they showed them
they
doing
showed them
that.
doing
They had a
like,
U-Haul.
U-Haul
Oh, okay.
or the Space Hall or something, whatever it was called. But it's I don't think they would have sold as well if they were called Tasticles.
Yeah, that's why my question was: are humans eunuchs in this time?
No,
No, there's lots of doing it
What
in
seems,
space.
but they seemed like to not know what a testicle was.
they did know what a testicle was.
But they said
just
that
I don't
only
think
the-
they knew what
but
a
they s-
Rocky Mountain oyster really was. I think that was
Yeah.
the joke, was that they were like, it sounds too much like that. And I think that's why it was funny, is that they didn't like it like, instead of Leela being not liking
I
the
see,
name
I
because
see.
it sounded like testicle, it was that it sounded too much like another product. So it was
Right.
But
And
yeah.
there could be a fact that by this time also the word testicle doesn't.
Doesn't mean what
They
it
know.
does.
Yeah, like
Right.
that's
Yeah, it's a
not-
possibility, but I don't think that's the idea behind that.
I thought that was one of those things that BuzzFeed put to figure
and
out.
I have
what
to
kinda-
sneeze, and I thought I was going to, and then I didn't, and it's the worst. I hate that.
Have you ever prepared
Put your
testicles?
put your tongue on the roof of your mouth whenever you don't want to.
Is that when you don't want to? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
If you're in a position you can't sneeze, put the tongue on the roof of your mouth. It'll
That's
go,
Stick your
I've never
tongue
heard that.
out
it'll go away.
and bite down really hard.
No, Pete,
They'll
I've never
stab
cooked.
you.
You've never cooked
I've never cooked testicles.
How experienced are you with preparing organ meat? Because that's sort of the final frontier, but it's also the wheelhouse of professional chefs.
I know how to cook some of it. I have not cooked a lot of it. I've done livers, which is
Yeah.
like a fry and stuff like that. And,
Mhm.
and then some of the other ones are going to be very tough, so you're going to want to cook them for low and slow, long time, stuff like that.
Like kidneys and whatnot, you gotta.
Kidneys
break 'em
would
down.
probably be. I've never cooked a kidney, but I would imagine it's probably similar to a liver, which you bread and you fry, and
Yeah. With onions and delicious and
you need something to cut through the taste.
yeah, it's very
Yeah, Tom's making the face that looks like how I feel. no thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty hip to like the fall meats, the
Yeah,
nasty bits, but
I mean,
some of it is
if
not
you
very appealing.
prepare anything, like super well, I mean, it's going to be
Right.
good.
But the philosophy, and maybe this is just me reading too much Anthony Bourdain.
I mean, look at potatoes. We've been
it-
talking about
it's-
Rally's fries for an hour. They're just fries, but the seasoning.
well, so the whole thing about like
Rally's
organ
fry
meat and
seasoning,
offal is
you could
if
put that
you're-
on pig's anus. And
if you can
is that a
make-
thing? Do people eat pig anus?
Yeah.
I eaten pig ears before.
Figures
yeah.
are good.
Yeah, it was
crunchy and fried.
pigtails.
Pigtails are good.
Pigtails are fantastic. Actually,
Why do
I've
people
had them
keep
at a
ruining
couple
ham?
places. They're just using all of the ham. It's like
I
ham
know, I
plus.
know.
But the point is like if you can make the shittiest parts of the animal taste good, then you're really like you know what you're doing.
It's all muscle.
Yeah,
It's
like
muscle.
it's not
I mean, a
it's
heart
not
is the
hard
same
to
as-
make a steak taste good.
Right.
It's pretty easy to make them taste bad. But
the place I ate the pig ears was one of those restaurants that famous guy owns in Cleveland, the chef guy,
Oh, is it the one with
the
arms?
TV guy or whatever.
Chef
He's got
Boyardee.
at least one. I don't know if I'd say arms.
he have a knife?
plural. No, that guy that Michael something.
Like a Simon.
Yeah.
yeah, at Mabel's.
And he came up to the table because he knew somebody I was there with, and I didn't know who he was. Everyone was like, "How do you not know who?" I was like,
He's
I
an
don't care.
Iron Chef. How do you not know?
That's when I found out about. Why would I know about that? I don't watch reality TV.
Because
I
before
eat fast
we had
food all the
sports
time.
teams we're talking about,
But he
was
couldn't
the
shut
only
about-
thing talking about in Cleveland.
He couldn't shut up about how Ronald McDonald was at the table next to him.
I got a selfie with him.
It turned out to just be a statue.
It turned out it was one of those clowns that leads kids into the woods.
It's just a old lady with too much makeup on.
It was Carrot Top, and he kept asking if I wanted to see a joke, and I just kept asking him for burgers and nuggets.
It was Dorothy Fuldheim.
You're too young.
I don't get that
Oh,
reference.
she is actually a badass, but just like a pioneering female journalist based in Cleveland with fiery red hair and a badass attitude.
She was
I think-
old when I was young.
Yeah,
Is
she
that
used
the
to be on
lady
like
that-
Channel 5 smoking.
Channel 5,
and
Is
just-
that the one they did the drunk history about? That she
Yes, she
Okay,
was. She
yeah, I
was
saw
one
that.
of them. I mean, she interviewed Hitler, I think, and was just like, "This guy's a piece of shit." Way back in the 30s, like it was a whole thing. But she's one of Cleveland's like feminist heroes, deservedly.
Yeah, I was
but could easily be staken.
Stella, the state, the guy,
David Wayne,
David Wayne, who's from
Yeah.
Garfield Heights or Shaker Heights.
Shaker Heights.
He did the drunk history
Or
and he talked
Cleveland
about
Heights.
that lady.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
neat.
But yeah, she also, I mean, in a certain way, could probably be mistaken for Ronald McDonald, maybe shorter.
Or Wendy.
And yeah, also she's been dead for like 20 years, so you probably wouldn't have seen her at a restaurant lately. Would they have been as popular if they were called Zitzlers?
Yes.
You think?
I disagree.
Do you think the flavor of Poplars, or what we know as Poplars, would have outweighed them regardless?
Oh
of
yeah,
a
they
bad
could have called
name?
it anything. I forgot to shut my phone off.
Is there anything else you can think of that
this
would?
is relevant? Slurmcast pod. Instagram just got a like from probably some spam thing.
Yeah, we were followed and unfollowed by a Suburban Gentlemen's Club last week on
We
Twitter.
won't rest until
What?
the official spam Twitter follows us.
What is a gentleman's suburban club? What's that?
It was a nudie bar in the suburbs. Followed us.
They have nudie bars in the suburbs. I thought they had to
Apparently.
be away from
It's
X
Medi-
amount of feet
Medina
away from
County.
schools or whatever.
It was Medina
Oh,
County.
so I guess there's enough space.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still Medina County.
Is Medina
Yeah,
a
they're a little bit
suburb or is
looser.
it the boonies? It's kind of like
it's
I think it used to be the boonies, but it's kind of a suburb now. I mean, it's technically, like by definition, a suburb. Always has been, but I mean,
Well,
you know.
there are parts that are funky and cold, and then there are the ones that aren't.
the square is really.
what does that
really
have
nice.
to do with whether it's a suburb or
I
not?
don't know. The pronunciation difference really fucked that
Medina?
up. Yeah.
Medina?
People who are not from here call it Medina because that's how everywhere else in the world refers to it.
Yeah.
It's named after a, ancient.
Oh, so that's how it's
city of-
supposed to be pronounced. It's one of those like Puritas Road. When somebody not from here goes Puritas or whatever,
Yeah,
it looks
or
like it should be.
Menor
Or
or Mentor.
Or I guess
Cuyahoga.
Yeah.
this isn't really one, but Carnegie or Carnegie. That's more of a accent on a syllable thing.
Is that how you do it?
Lancaster, Ohio. If you go there, it's Lancaster.
Ashtabula.
Which actually sounds way better. Like they would
A little bit.
It
Yeah.
sounds
It's not very Cleveland.
fantabulous. Ashtabulous.
instead of trash tabulous.
Yeah.
We're getting into weird areas, but I liked it. This was a fun episode.
Did you like it? Did you? Think
I
it was a
did,
good-
and this is one that
But
I
more
had.
importantly, Jason, did you enjoy this 23 minutes of this?
It was very
television
nice.
cartoon?
It was good.
Okay. Did you think it was funny?
I did.
In general?
I actually have in my notes the parts that made me laugh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's it. Usually ends up being most of our notes is instead of like what the it's usually just this joke was funny. This joke
Chris
was funny,
Farley
this,
show the whole thing.
The thing
Yeah.
in my arm was the first one. That was very good.
The what?
When she was like the
Oh yeah.
the thing in my arm.
I remember this episode vaguely from before, so this is one of
This is
those
one you
ones that I
kinda-
saw and like, because there was that reveal with the poplars when it became sentient that was like, oh, I know where this is going, and then it kind of came back.
All right. So I wanted to talk about
why does Bender call Zoidberg Sigmund?
I don't know, a doctor.
yeah, I didn't
maybe?
get that either. I guess. I mean,
I was just-
was
I
he
thought it was
saying
his
something about it's John Zoidberg, but like. Did he? I remember that, but did he say something?
I don't know. It didn't make any sense
About
to me, and I was wondering if like
related to psychology in some way. Or?
did that tie back to some sort of deleted scene or something? And then I was thinking, is it
No.
like Sigmund and the Sea Monsters? But
Who knows? It may have just been a joke that no one got.
like Ruth Gordon having a wheel.
Yeah, somebody got that though.
That was a great reveal last week. But the when Fishy Joe reveals himself, and they suggest that he would be eating at his own restaurants, like with the adamance and the quickness, and he's like, "Oh God, no, I wouldn't touch any of this." Like, is there anyone that runs like a McDonald's or a Burger King? I mean, I guess we all know Dave Thomas liked his Wendy's cheeseburgers because they took him to an early grave. But what about the rest of them? Like, is it purely like a robber baron thing now, or do you think there's people like that run those companies that are like, this is my favorite thing? I mean, I guess the guy that's gonna run our country is just like, give me all the KFC you can get to my face. But
I don't know.
how common do you think that is?
I don't really
Did
think
the-
about it.
Did the franchisees eat their own food?
No, like if I owned Rallies,
Would you eat rallies every day?
I would 3 times every day until it took me to an early grave. But like, does the owner of the Rallies / Checkers Corporation does he have that sort of affinity for it? It's just like
Probably
There's
not.
no
he
way.
probably if he
gonna
does
poison
eat
all
it,
the
it's
rubes.
in just moderation.
Yeah, I can't imagine any one of those. I mean, of course, in front of a camera, they have to say, you can eat this 3 times a day.
Yeah.
This is perfectly healthy for you. But you know that they're not
Super
doing that.
virile men scoring round the clock. I'll do my part. Kif, clear my schedule.
That was the Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
That was not what I was talking about. I just got there and I just wanted to share that and interrupt you guys. I don't care what you guys were talking about. I was
We were talking about Rallies.
just going through this episode. One thing that there's a couple. It's not really a world building episode. It's most of the main characters. Jason, are you familiar with Zap Brannigan? He's a reoccurring character. He's the blowhard captain that is doing the negotiation with the aliens.
I didn't know his name. They didn't ever name him. I watched it 4 times.
I feel like they might have not mentioned him because at this point he's been on like 8 times or whatever.
because
so
they did not name his name.
Okay.
And he didn't have pants on. What was that?
Yeah, they wear it's kind of
Is that
a
common?
play on like the
Well-
60s Star Trek, the original series of like
Tights.
like in just old sci-fi movies like that where like that you could have like
Everybody was in spandex of some
yeah,
kind.
it's just there was a lot of and on Star Trek, not the the women's uniforms, but on that show they'd meet like an alien race and sometimes they would just have like weirdly revealing like outfit, would be their uniform or their customary
But yeah,
garb or
they're
whatever.
bare. I mean, if you look at Kif, his assistant, like he's got green legs, and and there's been shots before where like Zap will be climbing up a ladder, and Kif will be behind him. He's just like,
But there's two things.
And he can't stand him.
no,
Or there's a few.
It's actually a very dysfunctional codependent relationship.
Yeah, like I don't know if you got a little bit of that of him being we only this episode, but we meet the smelly hippie.
Yeah. What is his name?
Waterfall Jr.
Waterfall Free Jr.
Who?
Free Waterfall
Tom
Jr.
Waterfall.
Jr.
We haven't met the that came up on the Sebastian episode. That's a name that reoccurs on the show where we meet a different family member of the Waterfall family. Like
Really?
several episodes. I can't. Tom, do you remember what the other one was? The first one we, because later we meet the lawyer.
This is the first one.
No, the Sebastian
The
episode.
waterfalls are in it later on.
You don't know.
But
You
there's-
don't know that it's.
We
a
don't know that
waterfall,
yet, but there was a waterfall
It's
earlier.
Waterfall Senior, Free Waterfall Senior.
No, but before this,
That's yes.
no,
That's
it
who-
was. This isn't the first one,
This is the first one.
is it? Maybe he
And-
just brought up that
he
character.
brought up-
Okay.
If it isn't a
Because
nude
he wanted a
loving-
tattoo or something.
All right,
Of that.
let's start this podcast
If
over.
it's-
I don't mean
if-
this episode. Let's go back to episode 1.
and
Call all our guests. We're gonna start over.
Redo.
Unless
Sorry,
this-
Jason. We'll see you in about 3 months or 4 months or however long.
Perfect. I'll clear my
Unless
schedule.
this is a nude lovin', you better get the hell off my property.
I'll watch it 4 more times.
I don't think this is at all an important overlaying thing with the episode that they intended. But the vegetarian thing, like this
The
was
lion?
This is what 2000
The lion
2001. No, just overall, like it's funny because let me. All right, everybody at this table, meat eaters, right?
Correct. I
Okay,
am.
that's what I thought.
For how
I
long? Because
was a vegetarian though for 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until
Because when I met
how long
you,
ago?
it was like
I was let's see, I had a turkey sandwich in 2001
Mhm.
and I didn't go back.
Wow.
and that's such a low like.
But it was a good. It
Until-
was at Boar's Head. That Boar's Head. we
Okay,
had the
so
Boar's Head
it was a
turkey.
good turkey because
It was
normally
a good
like
turkey sandwich, and it really.
I'll avoid fucking turkey if I can help
Fuck
it.
you,
No.
dude.
No, it was a
Turkey,
good
man.
one.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
like no, the butt or the skin or the legs, but turkey breast is just such a.
too dry for you. The
But
dark
you know
meat,
how
man.
to cook it.
Well, and then that
And I'm
too.
sure,
I mean,
yeah.
Well,
I'm sure you do.
you know.
Do you
I mean,
do you brine it? Do you inject it with flavor
No, we'll
injectors?
cook up turkey. But yeah, I mean, if you cook a turkey breast, it's pretty good. You just got to have a thermometer and make sure
Well-
you don't overcook it.
what did you guys think of this? I remember seeing this episode, when it came out and years before, and there was kind of a different, just different climate psychologically of, I think, how in general we felt about, and then, I mean, having been a vegetarian, you'll definitely have a different perspective on this. But at the time when I saw it, I was like, yeah, the whole point of it was that Leela was, and the rest of them later were against eating a sentient being. And then you had this guy that's like, you shouldn't eat meat at all. And it was, what you get from the writers of this episode is that that's silly. And at the
Well-
time, I was somebody that was like, yeah, I mean, I get it, whatever. Since then, in the last, 16 years or whatever, I still eat meat. I feel
You just feel
terrible
bad
about
about
it.
it.
I
Yeah.
have, I mean, I'm used to that. I grew up Catholic, but it's, if you were
feel bad
to,
about everything.
if I wasn't like a lazy, just bad person, yeah, I would not eat meat. I mean,
It's pretty terrible.
it's the worst. It is the worst thing. It is not the worst thing. It is
no,
a terrible
okay,
thing
look,
to do for
factory
so
farming
many.
is the worst
It
thing.
is terrible.
And unfortunately that's what enables us to eat all the meats that we like, such as rallies and whatnot.
I mean,
But-
I'm not saying we have to do like.
But the act
we're not
of
going to figure it
consuming
out.
is just
I'm
being part of the
it's-
circle of life. It's all Hakuna Matata.
But you don't have to. You don't have to eat.
I mean, you don't-
have
you don't
seen
have
a soybean
to.
factory farm?
No.
You don't want to see it.
yeah.
Brutal. What they do to those poor
What they do
soybeans.
to
Oh,
those
jeez.
edamame,
I-
it is.
What about the free range soybeans?
You'd never eat tofu again.
What about the free range soybeans? Like, I mean,
It's kind of fake.
do you feel like, hey, those soybeans should be out there, just being left alone?
You just
and then
open the
somebody comes
window
up
and let them get a breeze. I mean,
Right.
that's really the extent of it.
Yeah,
I was wondering. This brought up a point that I've been trying to
But
reconcile.
so do
in my
expensive
head.
pens. I read somewhere recently.
Has there ever been a time since their inception as a pop cultural movement where hippies have not been reviled?
And that's part of it too. That guy is
I mean, he's a
written as to
caricature
be
for
kind of a
sure,
dick.
but like,
And then also, like,
but
yeah,
you
there is
had
that thing of
the
like,
original wave.
I think that original wave,
the
they were
60s.
pretty cool for about 13, 14 months.
Yeah, I
And-
mean,
but
that's
re-
what.
but
That's,
reviled
historically,
by
that's
the
true, though. It was
squares.
kind of. That's every revolutionary or countercultural movement is. You know what? Every time, okay,
They've
we
never
just had a
come
black
back.
president for 8
they've
years.
Never come
We
back
just had a
into
black
fashion
president for 8
as
years.
like, yeah.
Do you know how much like now anything you see about MLK just revered? Oh my, somebody that grew up years after he died. Oh,
Yeah, but he wasn't a hippie.
No, I'm just saying when there's a counterculture, when there's a revolution, when there's a social change, the people at the forefront, America.
No. I'm not. I'm,
white people. I mean, did
I'm
not
talking
like,
about when the hippies started.
He was not.
The squares were like fuck the hippies, but after their initial wave happened, like they never went away. But you have to remember this from we're the same age,
What
and
I'm
like
trying to get to, what the point I'm
fucking
trying to make
hippie was
is
basically on my lips from the age of 5 on.
somebody kind
like,
of
as
has
soon as
to
I
be-
could talk, I was like fucking hippies.
somebody kind of has to be an asshole, or give off the air of being kind of a forceful asshole to say, hey, guess what? This thing that everybody's okay with, we need to stop doing it and go overboard on it.
But it's
Otherwise,
not being
not
forceful because there's people that can be opposed to. I mean, that's what all fucking Facebook is anyway. There's
forceful.
just
That's just a word I'm using. I just mean
there is the
the
trappings of being a hippie. Because you could go up to the Root Cafe right now and be like,
I know,
"You fucking hippies," and you would probably smell them before you saw them. And that's there is a. I mean, it's like crust punks. They're not better. They're just angrier and they drink beer instead of and
Cute puppies, though.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's a
cute puppy.
scam.
What, crust pump puppies?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
it's the bandanas.
It is.
It's real. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You toss a bandana around
the
a dog's
rope leash.
neck.
Yeah, the rope leash.
Yeah.
It's good. I think the hippies at the time for a minute were not reviled, but then I think a lot of them too at a certain point the acid, too much acid and
Yeah.
too much too
Well,
many
and-
drugs, too many bad drugs, just kind of turned it
There
into
was
a
some
really
of
messy
that-
scene.
That's any group. Anybody with a purpose. Eventually, it's going to turn into
A messy scene.
I guess I get more surprised about it now because when we were coming of age, like you still had the dead around, and it wasn't unusual. Like you leave high school between your sophomore and junior year, and 3 girls come back dressed entirely in
Well,
tie dye
that's the
because
thing,
they
too, is,
discovered
like,
weed over the break and went to see the dead or fish.
the original hippies, which there was a name from, and they refer to themselves as they were these hippies. There was
These goddamn
it was just the latest. It was just the latest grouping and labeling of a counterculture or a hip group of people. So that was them, and then people are individuals, but they looked at this group, and this group did kind of present.
We're going to
disorganizedly
stereotype all hippies
as people with some kind of purpose, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, like when I grew up, I would, there were hippies, but I mean that was a guy in what did you call those? Remember those knitted hoodies?
The drug
dope
rugs.
coats.
For the what?
Dope coats or drug rugs.
Drug
Bajas, drug rugs. That's what we used to
Yeah,
call
call
them.
drug
Yeah.
rugs.
So we were trying to think of that the other day. So me and somebody, Matthias, and drug rugs or Bajas, or whatever.
Shut up.
And somebody that likes this
And
kind
the
of music,
Pookie
or
Shell.
like
Shut up.
What?
No.
Me?
Shut
No,
up.
Okay.
Shut up.
Sorry.
No.
Shut
Oh,
up.
what
up.
were you doing, Jim?
Which
Or what-
Shut
is it-
up.
Is that
Shut
me?
up.
that was
Shut up.
Oh, the hippie.
Doing
Yeah,
waterfall.
yeah.
that was so
say,
amazingly
Jim was
prescient
saying.
back to the
So-
presidential debates of this year. It's
Shut up.
like, yeah,
Shut up.
no,
up.
no, man, no, that's
No.
no, it's not what I said.
But it was
No,
though.
shut up, no,
It-
shut up.
It was.
So is this where Leela's first name is revealed?
Yes.
I don't know.
And that ties.
I mean,
back
yes.
to-
First name too, right?
It's the first time that both her and Fry are referred to as their full name.
We haven't heard Philip in like a flashback to his parents or something yet.
It's been
Philip J.
any-
Fry hasn't come up yet
No,
at this point.
no.
I don't know if I mean, I should probably just trust Tom, you guys, right?
I liked how Fry had like a deadpan reaction to having his name revealed.
Yeah.
Just kind of sat there, was like, "Yep." That's my name." I don't even remember what his name was, but I remember
Philip,
that, like,
Philip.
Philip. He's just like, "Yep, Philip."
Oh, and real
That's
quick, there was
Most of his reactions to things.
more of Zoidberg's terrible medical knowledge, where he thought Amy was the father of Leela's baby.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Let the husband speak.
Yes, listen to the father.
Or the father speak, right?
And that was really the point. So when do they? Oh shit! Do they name? They name. Is it Nur?
Lur.
Lur.
At the end, or when they give the first sentient popper the name, which really, if Fry and Bender weren't slobs, none of this shit would have happened anyway. Because that was the point. Because they were leaving old food lying around. That's
she's
where
like,
it incubated
This
enough to
poplar's a
wake
week
up.
old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jur, the name was the.
It wasn't
the
Lur.
popular.
Oh, Lur's the.
Lur's the
shit.
father.
Okay.
But
Or
the
he is the king of.
But didn't he have two names?
It's
Lur was his name, but didn't she call him something else when they were on stage?
no, it was Lur, and then was the
Leela called him something else, I think. Called him like, it was like, because I had Lur written down.
Was it Omicron? That Omicronian or whatever? That's
Yeah, yeah.
their race name.
The guy that ate the hippie?
that's-
Yeah, the main.
his-
His name was Lur. When he was on TV, he said it was Lur, and then somebody called him. I want to say Leela called him Jur on stage.
That was Jur was
Was
the
the
little
baby.
baby.
Oh, Jur was the baby.
Oh,
was
okay.
the poplar.
Yeah.
But when
Oh,
when
I'm
they
sorry, I'm
showed
sorry, okay.
Jur standing, I was like, oh, he's a mini Omicronian, and that's when I was like, oh, I remember this episode and how it tied back in. So the Omicronians, if that is or just whatever, they were
Omicronian.
featured.
That's correct.
Actually,
Aluminum,
oh,
mediums,
hang on, not planned.
aluminiums.
They were featured on the episode that Sarah was on.
Okay. The
What a weird,
Omicronians?
yeah, single female lawyer.
They're on a lot. I'd love
The-
to.
this is really the second time they've been
You
featured
guys,
in
Pete
it.
just found God.
No, I think it's an interesting coincidence that like 15 episodes apart,
Yeah, it's
we
just-
have two people that
that is
live
an
together.
interesting thing.
It wasn't
Cosmic.
planned.
I didn't think of that, but yes,
Pretty cosmic.
No, I don't. It's serendipity. I don't want you to enjoy anything in life at all.
I don't ever.
So we can't even enjoy the serendipity?
No, it's,
I don't, no,
won't.
I'm dead inside. We've established
I
that.
just stopped enjoying it right now.
Who cares?
I don't.
I instead of writing that Fry is so dumb, I put that Zap is the worst. He really I know
guacamole,
Quack-a-mole.
guacamole,
Quack-a-mole.
quack-a-mole.
And when they're talking about how they're going to eat the humans, like the math teachers and
math-
the
right,
firemen,
firemen.
and so on in
I-
that fashion. Like,
yeah, that was-
how do you think? What
it
would
just
what
random?
would the rest of that
I think
be?
so.
I don't think so. I think they had a logic to it. So what would come after the math teachers?
Civil servants.
Civil servants, bureaucrats,
Possibly.
used tire salesmen.
That's not a civil servant, though.
Well, I mean, but it could be.
Garbage man?
Yeah, but it could be anybody's, any different population. I mean, they have 198 billion humans to eat to make up for their casualties. It could be exterminators. There'd be some irony in that.
There sure would.
Recording engineers,
Why?
Cooks?
absolutely. But would they save them till the end? Because it'd be like, can you season these guys
Exactly.
to make them, taste a little better?
A little bit human with your salt.
Yeah.
It did not appear that they needed anything but salt to eat a human.
Well, he was just kind of going to town with the salt. I mean, he didn't even need
I know,
that.
but I don't think they need cooks. That they didn't need the waiter.
Well, he got violently ill after eating the hippie, so maybe he did.
We got violently ill because he was tripping.
Well, he
Yeah.
started
Nuts.
tripping and got sick because
He
he's
didn't
like,
get
something
sick.
wasn't right on
My
that.
hands are
No,
so
he just
big.
started to get high.
He didn't get sick. Yeah, he was just
No, he was
super,
tripping balls.
super high. But then they let him drive his spaceship out of there.
Not.
Yeah, I thought. I'm hoping they pulled over later and they changed drivers because that seemed,
They likely did.
Is Fishy Joe's extreme walrus juice made out of walrus, or is it?
Fresh squeezed walrus, yes.
So is it like they liquefy it, or is it just sort of a secretion that comes out of the walrus?
I would
think they squeeze
I would
it.
say
I
it's
would-
pressed, yeah.
yeah.
Cold
I
pressed.
put
walrus
a piece
juice.
of the walrus in there and squeeze it and
Just a piece of it, not the whole
I thought it was
thing.
funny
Well,
too because this is before the time
like
of
a-
extreme
You have to
drinks.
cut a lemon
Yeah.
in half to
Or
juice
or
it.
really maybe right in line with it.
Is that when Monster came out and all those like?
Well, there was that jag in the late 90s, early 2000s where like extreme was tacked onto everything. Doritos and deodorant and
Oh,
other
okay,
things
okay.
that start with D.
But it was before the energy drinks. Obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean cuz those really I think Red Bull was sort of the first one to get widespread appeal.
When did that
But
come out? When did Red Bull come out?
we sold it at the deli I worked at in college, so late 90s.
Oh wow, okay.
And there were
Since
also
1855.
there were also the drinks at
It was
that
a nickel.
point, like, but they were marketed as like health stuff as opposed to like just get jacked up to play video games. Like it was when they started putting guarana and taurine and everything. But it was as like
Bat
health
poop.
supplements.
Guano.
It's bat poop.
I know.
They used Wingus and Dingus as insults,
right.
which
Wingus, Dingus.
yeah.
We're gonna pull the old switcheroo on the aliens. We're gonna give the aliens the old switcheroo.
with a hideous ape that looks like Leela, and no one can tell the difference. That's the sort of stuff that I always thought was kind of goofy because we've established that Leela's pretty foxy, one eye or no. Like she's a really fetching woman, and then to be like, we got this orangutan.
Well, or as,
with a
as
wig.
Zach put it, this what do you say, hot lady for a moderately attractive ape?
Yeah. with the hairy eye patch. That part I loved.
And there.
Yeah. And there's like,
Everyone, oh yeah.
He's, with-
Did anybody feel bad when Inda ate the ape?
No.
No.
No,
That was funny.
no.
Yeah.
That ape was cute, and he was just hanging out. And then they
They-
dressed him up like a lady, and then he got eaten. That was
They were
sad.
trying to. So Leela didn't get eaten. So it was. I
No,
was
I'm
expecting
not.
it to get
I mean,
eaten.
not. I mean, when it just happened in that senseless moment where it was
Hey,
like,
why'd you
oh,
open your bong hole, you smelly hippie?
You guys didn't, Jason? Anything? You guys are all assholes.
Did you
That's-
feel bad when?
Yes,
then
when the hippie got
Waterfall
eaten. Yes,
got eaten.
I felt
No,
bad.
he ruined the plan. It would have been fine.
I hated him. He was a very hateable character. When he got eaten, I was like, oh man.
I think we're
I
talking
don't
about. Okay. Were you talking about the orangutan getting eaten?
Well, first I was talking about that. I was saying I felt bad. Nobody cares.
No, I felt bad about Waterfall getting eaten.
You did?
I did. I
Really?
Didn't, I didn't think he was
I
a terrible
did,
guy.
but I didn't think anybody else would because he's a very unlikable character.
I
See,
never feel bad about
He
hippies
won me
getting
over when
eaten.
he on the shut ups. I thought that was fantastic.
Good. It was cute. I mean, you
I
know.
thought that was really great.
But-
Shut up.
Yeah, but
Shut
not
up.
if you had to deal
Shut up.
with it in person.
I liked how he was. His title was anti-eating advocate.
Did you that? And then did you notice that? I don't know if they showed it. I just remember hearing it.
Which
when they
really, I mean,
named
he's
the,
diametrically opposed to your profession.
right.
The acronym.
I still
for,
liked him.
The acronym for their organization was Mankind. Yeah,
Meat.
Mankind something against
For the ethical.
For an ethical animal
Animal
treatment.
treatment. Yeah.
Ethical animal
Um,
treatment.
No, but I just I don't know. I mean,
It all worked out in the end. I thought the voice of Jur was a little too close to the greeting card from Mother's Day.
It was yeah.
I mean, it
definitely
was
that.
Lauren Tom doing
Yeah.
both, but like,
I thought it was cute. When it was
Yeah,
swimming
me
around
too.
The honey mustard.
Me too.
yeah, oh yeah, but so you know the issue is that we just watched an episode last week that had the same voice and a different character.
Oh, I see.
So you're in a vacuum.
And a vacuum is cute.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it works. I mean, it was does Jur ever grow to maturity and come back?
Nope.
Nope. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Unless we're wrong,
Don't
hey,
know.
maybe there's a moment where they make
There's another episode with a Omicronian child. I don't remember if it's the same one or not.
or there might be. I don't. If they do, I don't feel like they make a big deal out of it. They might.
Just
maybe
a whole
there will be an
episode about
Omicronian-
him.
Did
Yeah,
they
that's what I'm
ever
saying is,
explain
like-
how the poplars like actually spawn? Because they just seem to issue forth from the earth. So what
Yeah, they were
was-
in like.
No, they
pits.
lay their eggs, and the eggs, you know.
but
in
but they
pits.
never showed them
What?
eating.
They were like in pits.
Yeah.
They leave their eggs there. The eggs develop. That's a nursery, and
But
they,
there were like 200 billion eggs they left.
yeah, like a lot of animals lay like spiders lay some spiders lay
Up to
how would you
7 eggs.
because I got to read books about spiders all the time, and it's terrible, and I am scared.
All right, I'm gonna
Spiders?
I'm gonna count to blarks.
Blorks.
Blarks.
With an O.
It's blarks.
It's blorks. Is that what it says in the infosphere? Is it blarks?
No, that is
an
what
A?
it says on the.
She says blorks with an O. I'm going to count the blorks.
on the subtitles.
And then it's like what? Fingal. I did not write this down. This is from memory.
Flingle
Flingle. Glorbin. Glorbin and gloob. Glork.
and
Oh, you're
glork
just
and
counting
a
the numbers.
Yeah.
glork and a glue, which is. I
And
assume a
everybody's had
half
that
unit.
that mom counting to and then 2.5.
I do it 7 times a day.
Oh yeah. Or in
Start
your
doing
case,
it
it's
that
just-
way.
yeah,
doing
when
that
you
to your
start
kid.
doing it that way.
Oh my God, I can't confuse her at this point.
Does
She
that
actually
work?
j-
Does it work to count when BB
No, okay, so
has
here's
to do something?
here's
in
how
5
here's how
seconds?
anything I
You
say
should do
works.
the robot from RoboCop and
When
be like,
she-
you have 10 seconds to comply,
when she decides
10,
that her fucking
9,
ears work,
And
which
Pete
is
gets
never.
a gun out.
and then yeah,
I get that like my middle finger turns into a big long slut. No, like
that's
it,
Terminator.
it
God,
only-
Pete, watch a movie.
it
Jesus,
only,
this guy.
No, doesn't RoboCop have a spike?
No,
Are you sure?
No,
No, he has a gun.
his guns
His
that come out of his
hands.
thighs.
Guys, I understand, but if I can produce a picture of RoboCop,
And then with the guy hauling toxic waste, and they got
I hope it's.
run over.
what in the first one?
so
Yeah, the first one,
listen,
yes,
my point is just right here. There's a knife coming out of his fist.
That's the
Oh,
remake.
fuck, that's right. Is it? Didn't
Here-
he jam something into
Here's
like a
here's another
keyhole
one.
or something?
Peter Weller. It's coming out of his fist.
Yeah, didn't he have a thing? Remember, it came out and he would like jam it into like a keyhole or something. He wasn't
you,
killing
Pete.
anybody with it. I
Damn
don't
you,
think. I don't know,
Pete.
man. It's been so long.
Like if I'm gonna call out a reference that I'm relatively certain about, I
He's gonna be
I
right.
demand satisfaction. The point is, I can say whatever I want to my daughter. She selectively decides whether or not her ears work. They've been tested; they're fine, but it's just it doesn't matter.
The two
And
worst
actually-
things that have happened to me in the last few months are.
Do
and
sometimes
it is
you-
close is my dad dying and Pete being right about something. Those two are
It's
evenly
traumatic.
matched.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
think
the same
maybe
reaction
sometimes
my wife has.
Is
you think you're saying something, but you're not even? There's no sound coming out of your mouth.
No, because the other side of that is I'll say something once, I'll say it twice, I'll say it 3 times, and then the volume on my voice will start to raise, and then my wife yells at me for yelling. Even though I'm just yelling because I've had to repeat this same, like, turn off the TV, turn off the TV, turn off the TV. And I'll be as far away from her as I am from you. And I'm either just being ignored or she's got the fucking attention span.
Rick, turn off
of-
the TV.
Jason and I had a long talk a
You know
week
what's
ago
weird is
about
we're-
our friends having kids.
Pete lives in a small 1-bedroom apartment by himself. I have no idea who he's talking
Yeah,
about right now.
He has a broom with a face drawn on it and a mop bucket.
This episode was in top 10, like 2 different.
I was
well,
going to ask
it
you
was
if you
in-
looked that up because this is in my top 20. Like, I'm glad you got to see like if you were going to sit down and watch an episode, Jason.
was
I'm glad
good,
you got to
yeah.
watch this one because I think it's a funny one. It's one of my. If it's in the top 10, it's right at the. I mean, it's not. It's definitely not top 5. It might be in top 10. Definitely top 20 out of the 100 and whatever episodes. It's yeah.
I enjoyed also at the end, like the little button on it is that they have a table full of suckling pig and
Yeah,
veal
right.
and dolphin.
Give me the blowhole.
and
Hand me the
throw
speed
the
center of
speed
the
center of the
brain.
brain. Like that. Like if you could.
And they ate the dolphin because he lost a bet.
Yeah, no, because
Yeah.
he spent all his money on
what it is,
scratch offs, which I
scratch-offs.
was just like,
Well, that's the whole thing. You got to be ethical about it. It's like this is a bad animal, and that's I don't think about it a lot, but when I do, like that, this pig was probably a dick. Like he probably.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
You
That's
try
how
to,
I
like-
justify it.
do you mean if you're just eating like something that has
This is probably the CEO
pork in it,
of
or do you
rallies
mean if
at
you're
some
eating like
point.
a pork pig roast and you
I'm
see
talking
the
about
pig?
no any
You're just like,
piece
this-
of food I eat, I consume. I'm like this Cheez-It probably knifed somebody before it got sent to
This-
the package.
Billy, if this cow had the chance, he'd kill you and everyone you know.
This pig probably stepped on Mr. Sugardale's foot and didn't feel bad about it at all. And now I'm eating both his belly and his lips and assholes.
Some pig.
And with that, we sort of reached the actual content. What was interesting, and I thought the hippie sounded familiar, but Phil Hendry did the voice of the hippie.
Yes.
And the hippie,
I did not look that up.
the
That's
hippie is one of his enduring characters. I
Can
mean,
we call what his name is? His name is Free Waterfall Jr.
yeah, we
Yes.
talked
Okay.
about that a while back.
I know,
and how
but-
there's the Waterfall family.
But you said the hippie. You could keep calling him the hippie.
I like.
Oh.
I will continue to call him Smelly.
No,
Hippie.
I didn't- I didn't mean it like that.
When
I mean,
Lur
Phil-
says the one called Smelly Hippie is right, that's a. This episode, I
Phil
know I've said it
Hendry
a million
does-
times. This is one that like Dan, Lewis, Sean, Tom, and I, and Kaplan
Yeah.
quote a lot. Like this is a,
But the
never heard of
the
any
hippie character and that voice is like one of Phil Hendry's
Oh, okay,
stock
that's what you
characters.
meant. Okay.
Because he's done that on. I know he did it several times on King of the Hill. Different character, but
Yeah.
literally the exact same voice. And I think ultimately, like the hippie voice is based off of one of the recurring characters on the Phil Hendry show. And he's are you familiar with him at all, Jason?
I am not familiar.
He's a radio host
Okay.
who kind of built this cult following. I don't know if he's still on the air or not because they with all of these radio guys are like, I'm just gonna podcast, then all of a sudden they've got a show again or whatever. And he shows up as a character actor here and there, but he had a
Would I know him from something other than?
well, if you saw him, you'd be like, oh yeah, I remember him on this, or you certainly have heard his voice in cartoons. But he had like a call-in talk show, like a Rush Limbaugh, whatever. But he had mastered the art of having conversations with himself in real time as different characters. So he had this phone bank set up so he could toggle on different microphones and coming in different ways, and he would bait himself into ridiculous arguments as like 2 or 3 different other people as callers.
throw his voice.
Well, basically, he'd be talking and then like it was all
Right.
It was all real time and it all
Sounds
worked
very
out.
familiar.
But then other people wouldn't realize it was a joke, and
They
they'd
had him
call
on an
in
episode of
and get into
Marin
this
where
stuff.
Marin went and met him, and
Yeah, I think that.
did you see that? Is that
This sounds familiar.
He's bald beard,
Do you
kind of
like-
a bigger
and he
guy.
How
he's
do you
listening
like
to him
had-
on the radio, and he goes and meets up
Yeah,
with
and he
them,
meets
and
up
you're
and he's
talking
like,
about
oh, there's
like
one guy here.
the old radio guys. Yeah, because he was like having it's like a woman caller, like
Right. That's what it was. It sounded very familiar.
I mean, I got turned on to him like 15 years ago, I think by my dad. Like he was never really, he might have been syndicated out here on like a tiny AM station or something, but he's in Southern California and like that was his thing.
Okay.
And he'd do like a 3-hour show every night. And that's the part that was always so amazing about it is like there were always people that would call in and not realize it was
That it was
fake.
one person.
Because it would get super ridiculous. It'd be like people advocating eating unwanted children or like, stuff like
he's the
stuff like
Jonathan
that way.
Swift of modern radio.
Exactly.
We missed the part where
Yes.
right before they switch Leela with the orangutan, and like Bender and Fry are sitting there apologize or like telling her that they're gonna miss her, and Bender's like, "You're like titanium,"
She's acting like aluminum.
or is it no? Yeah, and
It's
Leela-
like loyal and beautiful or something like that, right?
Beautiful
Just
and a
like
loyal
titanium.
friend, yeah, just like titanium. And then she like says something, and then she's like, "And Bender, you were stepping on them for fun," because
Yeah, right.
she was saying how everyone was eating
That
the
might have been
poplars.
that episode.
two should
That
be
might
in
have been
here.
that moment.
That's
What
the
you were
moment
talking
you were
about?
talking about.
Okay.
I would not eat a poplar.
Yeah, if it
I'm so hungry for so many
I'm
things.
allergic
right
to
now.
back to the earlier. I'm allergic to poplars.
allergic to poplars. Oh man, you're missing out. But it's worth it though. I mean, does your throat close up?
My
Like,
ears get really big.
It just that would be a really
like I see you getting blown down the street because
Right, my
they're getting
ears.
caught by the wind, and you're just like, poplars are so
I
good.
couldn't resist. They're so good. Delicious. Is he a wrestler? No, poplars.
cauliflower ears.
Yeah.
It's
It's an epidemic.
What was your favorite part of this episode, Jason?
I really like the Omicron when they were on TV making the call, and then the TV feedback was really fun.
Oh, I forgot
That
all
was
about that
great.
whole
That was
scene.
super
Like we skipped
fantastic.
over that whole
I love that.
exchange there.
It was
Yeah.
just like turn down the TV because they were so excited to see themselves on TV.
And then
turn
it,
the TV
and then it was
down. He's got
over,
the
and
itch.
he was like,
And
you
it
know,
was
when you
like-
can't,
and then the feed didn't
when you really
cut.
have to.
You'd be like, oh, you really want to itch something. That was great. And then the nose on with the Waterfall Junior was great.
I just
That part was just funny. He was just like, nope.
I know, but it
I keep doing it throughout this whole
it
thing.
It
was
starts
so
off
fun.
real quiet, like
Nope.
Fishy Joe saying his thing, and he's like,
up.
nope. Nope.
But
Nope.
but then
Nope.
to see that that happened in a fucking presidential debate.
No, right.
I mean, and that's what's so crazy is like this was they had to be referencing something because that's like a talk of the nation or the McLaughlin Group sort of thing. Where you have people
It was the
arguing
talking
and
heads, kind of,
Yeah, but to just be like, they've gotten so much.
I like
more
that the name of
rude.
that show was Date Night.
Date night, right?
Was that Linda?
Yes.
I couldn't tell if it was Linda with or
Yes.
Morbo because they didn't. I don't think they said her name,
Yeah,
and
that
she
was her,
seemed a
yeah.
little more
They
serious.
said her name.
Well, that was her like evening, Tom Brokaw show or whatever, like their Ted Koppel show
yeah,
or
like,
whatever.
And then they're watching a human or somebody getting eaten.
Yeah.
And they're still promoting.
Oh
Walrus
yeah,
juice.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Fantastic.
That's. I mean, oh,
It was like a morose moment.
Yeah,
like,
they had the sign out front on the
brought to you by.
what do you call it, on the marquee or whatever of like
Madison
Human eating.
Cube Garden.
yeah.
people of Earth. Shh. oh, okay. That's one of my favorite parts of that episode too.
I also
Me
like too that, and I like that when things are weird and they're explained easily and quickly. So I liked when I forget the negotiator's name.
Zap.
When he comes out, when they put the orangutan out dressed up as Leela. I like how he kind of like winked into the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
And the entire audience was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I like it when something is super bizarre. Like a big example would be like being John Malkovich. Like that
Yeah.
movie is so weird, but they established this very early that it's a very weird movie.
I think it's.
I just watched on it.
Like they had no problem saying like, oh, we're channeling into John Malkovich's head.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like how they like cut to the chase real fast and be like, this
And
is
then
a-
they're
None of
not
that
gonna.
Johnny-
Yeah, it's
None
just
of that
like
Donnie
orangutan.
Darko
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
Where it's
It's
like, I don't know
it's
what's
not.
going
It's like
on,
no,
man.
that's what's
It's
yeah.
not
That's what
taking forever. And they cut to the chase. And
Speaking
everyone's
of being John Malkovich, I just watched Anomalisa this weekend. The guy that wrote that, Charlie Kaufman, and wrote
like, adaptation,
Eternal Sunshine and Adaptation.
which I haven't seen adaptation.
It's did you watch it? Did you see that yet?
I haven't seen it.
It's
on
animated, super depressing, really good. It's just
Animate?
yeah,
No,
that's
it's
the stop motion,
marionettes.
right?
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah. It's the little puppets or
it was
whatever.
last year it came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's very.
It's really
There's a sex scene too with the.
there's a
the stop
puppet
action.
sex scene.
Yes.
There's a puppet shower scene. You can see a puppet dick, puppet boobs.
Yeah. So
Pete's-
this is 2
Pete's
weeks
got
in
a
a
water
row that
problem.
we've had sort of Futurama novices on, but it's
Right.
an interesting way to discuss it because sometimes you want to get a fresh perspective. So thank you for 4 times. That's impressive.
Right, I watched it 4 times and
That's
I was.
I mean-
nervous. I didn't want to fail.
no. I just
I
mean
don't
like
want to let you guys
that's-
down.
can't
It's hard to
fail.
like watch the same 25-minute cartoon 4 times.
I can recite it.
Yeah, I mean at this point, yeah. I
Listen to the father.
but no, we appreciate that.
Do you have any way that you'd like people to find you online, either personally or professionally, or do you want this to not be associated with you?
Sure, yeah. If anybody needs any food, my business is Molinari's Culinary, and I have a Facebook and Instagram under those 2 names.
So it would just be, one word.
Yep.
Okay.
Molinari's Culinary.
That is,
And there's a website.com.
100% delicious.
95%
Instead of
delicious.
me messing
You
it
can't,
up.
I mean, I know you can't
you
say
spell your
100%,
last name?
but
It's MOLINARI.
All right. I
And then
can
culinary
spell your
spelled
last
correctly.
name, but it would have. There's a good chance I might have tripped over a couple
That's
of
okay.
letters.
so yeah, thank you for listening. We can be found.
To be fair, I
at,
can't spell culinary though. That's a pretty big word.
slurmcastpod@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter at slurmcastpod. Instagram at slurmcastpod. We can be called and or text messaged at 216-438-1077. Is there anything else that people should look for us on? Rate us, review us in iTunes.
Yeah, that's
Fan
about it.
art. Still waiting on some fan art.
You can. It's an international waters account or whatever you want to call it. You can put money on Tom's death pool at Tom's death
I'll
pool.
post it. It's through
dot-
it's through GoFundMe, I guess.
Yeah, they still have to get rid of that body.
It's not really a bet. It just the money just all comes to me, and then. I actually, you know what though? It's not really fair. I shouldn't be allowed to play because I could kill Tom at any moment.
Any-
of any
right.
day.
It's a conflict of interest.
I'm going to
Yeah.
turn the fan
It's not
power
really
on the
fair.
mic. Who are you going to do an impression of?
This is an impersonation of a guy listening to Space Oddity on headphones. Ready?